If you don't follow me, make sure you follow me at I am Constance Carter. Now, listen, I wanted to have a conversation with you because there is a stigma about that I don't think we talk about enough in our community, especially when it comes to our men. Black men are taught to be strong. They suppress, they survive. But what happens when the weight gets too heavy to carry? What happens when a man is silently drowning with no safe space to cry, to breathe, to break down? I'm talking about Black men. Okay. So if you have a Black man that you love, go get him. Tell them to watch today, because I'm going to talk to a gentleman that went from suicidal, sleeping, being homeless, to building viral $1 million brands. And let me just give you a little bit of background about him. His name is Donovan Woodberry, aka Dark Skin Gatsby. He is a resilient individual who hails from South Carolina, where he was born and raised. Despite facing significant challenges early in life, Donovan persevered and demonstrated remarkable determination. At the age of 22, he found himself homeless, but his unwavering spirit led him back on the path to success. At 23, he re-enrolled in school, pursuing his passion for the law by studying pre-law at the prestigious University of Louisville. Actually, you're supposed to say Louisville. You're not supposed to say Louisville. You say Louisville. Anyway, I want to bring my friend Donovan Woodberry. Everybody, give it up. Everybody say hey to Donovan. Everybody say hey, Donovan. Let me tell you guys. So I met I don't know if you remember. Do you remember where we met, Donovan?
Was it a Dumb 2S event?
Which one?
Was it a Dumb 2S event?
I don't know. It was New Year's Eve.
Oh, no. What was that one?
See, we met New Year's Eve 23. And what I didn't know is I was already following you. I was already following your brands, and I didn't even know. We met
at the Red Grant. Was
was it
that
the
one?
The one, it was 23. It was New Year's Eve
Yeah.
event in DC.
Yeah,
Was
I know
Red
what you're
Grant at
talking
that
about.
one? It was all
Yeah.
the reality people. It was
Yeah.
over there in the VIP. Yeah, and so then I was like, let me go, because you and I met. I think we danced together or something, and then I looked up your social media. I was like, I'm already following this brother already. I didn't even know. And so then what I didn't know at the time that I met him was that he was the creator of a conference called Melanin Con that I had wanted to speak at. And I had no idea at the time. And then he had all these other brands that I did not know that was him. And so I had an opportunity to speak at Melanin Con a couple of months ago, and it was a fantastic event. I actually shared it with my audience. I came on after Dr. Jamal Bryant, and he was wonderful. And he had some heavy hitters there. It was a spectacular event. And then I invited him over to my mixer a couple of weeks ago, and he shared his story, which I didn't really know about his story. And so everybody was blown away, especially the men in the audience. And so with that, I said, you know what, I got to bring him on here because I think this is an important topic to talk about, and especially when we're talking about Black men and mental health. So thank you for coming on here. So Donovan, can you give us a little bit of background about you? Everybody saying what's up to Donovan. Karen from the Bronx said what's up. Everybody is welcoming you. So it's a few hundred people on here, so they want to welcome you. So Donovan, tell us a little bit about your background.
Professionally or just in general?
In general.
Like you said, I'm from South Carolina, born and raised. Was bouncing around schools for a little bit. I went to Coastal for a little bit, flunked out of Coastal, and ended up doing Job Corps in between Coastal and Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
When I was born, the doctor said I'd never walk. I was born club-footed, so they had to break my feet and then rebuild them up. Back now it's outpatient surgery, but back then they told my parents I'd never walk, so I was in casts up to my thighs until I was like 3 or 4. And my mom said I came alongside the walls walking. And from there, I was put in the Forrest Gump shoes with the metal bike, all that. And then I've been walking and running ever since. My dad died when I was 4. My mom died when I was 15. So I kind of like been
So your
hustling on my
dad
own.
died. So your dad died when you were 4. Your
Hmm.
mom died when you were 15.
Yes,
And so who
ma'am.
did you live with?
I bounced between my aunt and my grandma in that time frame. I was finishing up my freshman year of high school, so I didn't really had that long. And then when I graduated high school, I just bounced.
So when your mom passed away, she was the only person that you had at that point. You
Yeah.
and was she sick? Was it expected or was it sudden?
Nah, it was she was on the phone talking on the porch. She had a massive heart attack.
Oh wow.
So it was just boom.
So how did you react to that? How was that for you when your mom passed?
I don't really think I processed it until probably like a couple years ago.
Really?
Uh, yeah, I didn't go to her funeral. I didn't even know where she was buried.
Word.
I got COVID. I got COVID real bad. What was this 2021, 22? I got COVID real bad. So part of my deal with God, I was like, I'm about to go home and forgive everybody, my family, and I'm gonna go see where my mom was buried because I don't go home. So I went and found where she was buried.
Well, why didn't you go to her funeral?
Because the last time I remember her was she was sitting at the table laughing. I didn't want that to be my last memory.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. And so you had some conflict within your family.
Yeah, I guess like in a conflict like any other family, but for me, I just was like I ain't really for it. So once I bounced, I bounced.
So how old were you when you ended up homeless?
22.
How'd you become homeless?
I was staying with my sister, and then we kind of had a little falling out, and I just ended up by myself with nowhere else to go.
Where was this? This was in South Carolina?
Florida.
This was in Florida.
Mm,
And you were on the streets.
yeah, working at McDonald's
Where did you sleep?
outside. And but every 2 weeks or so, I get a hotel room.
Wow. And were you in school at the time?
No,
Okay. So
I
you
was
had
already out of school. I did Job Corps already though, so
how old?
I had a little resume built up that I used to pass my resume out in the back window of that McDonald's in the morning, and that's how I got connected with 3 interviews in Kentucky.
So you were born in Kentucky,
No, I was born in South Carolina.
South Carolina, and
Yeah.
then you went to Florida, and then you
Hmm.
ended up going to college in Louisville. Louisville.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you ended up in Louisville. How?
Like I said, I was passing my resume out in the back window of that McDonald's, and eventually this guy got me 3 interviews in Kentucky, Louisville. Saved up and flew out for the interviews, and the third interview, I got hired on the spot at the Marriott, and they saved the job. I went back to Florida. I worked for like a month, and they saved that job for like that whole month. They saved the job. So then I moved. I picked up and moved there, and they let me stay in the hotel for like a month and a half until I got on my feet to get my own apartment. So then over that summer, I was riding by a Louisville sign. I was like, what do I got to do to get back in school? Turns out all I had to do was sign up. So that's how I got back in school in Louisville.
So what? Okay, so when you were homeless for how long?
Maybe like 11 months.
Wow. So you were on the streets for 11 months.
Yeah,
So how did you just happen to be working at McDonald's? You're passing out your resume in the back window of
yeah.
McDonald's.
So like I worked in the
What made you
morning,
think to
so
do that?
shooting my shot. So even before that, what people don't know is school websites, college websites have everybody emailed down to the janitors on the website. So what I did was I emailed my resume to every single person on staff. Some
Wow.
people responded, some people didn't. So then my next course of action was just it was people I talked to every day, because the same people come get a coffee every day. So it was just as easy as just printing them out, handing them out.
Man, that's motivation. What made you even think to shoot
I
your
don't
shot?
know. I was desperate, so it was just like I got to figure this out.
So you went to Louisville, you graduated from college.
Hmm.
Anybody show up at your graduation?
No,
It was just you.
yeah, my
Okay.
line brothers,
Okay. You are a member of
Kappa Alpha Psi.
Fraternity Incorporated. All right.
Mhm.
And so your line brothers was at your graduation, and then how did you end up in DC?
I wanted to move to DC. Well, I Louisville is predominantly white, so I wanted to be around black folks again. So it was between DC, Charlotte, Atlanta, and Dallas, and couldn't find a job in Atlanta, and Charlotte was too close for home for me,
Mm,
and Dallas they wasn't really paying enough, so I actually got hired again on the spot for a real estate company here in DC, and I just picked up and moved to DC.
really?
But it was to expand like my the Posh Standard brand, which at the time was just a blog.
Okay. So when you moved to DC, you're in real estate. Your major was what? Your major was, you said
Pre-law, paralegal
law.
studies.
Okay. So why did you get into real estate?
I was just trying to get a job. So that was like the first thing that picked me up and moved me here. I didn't want to go to law school. It took too long to get through regular school. So I was school out. So I was just trying to shoot my shot again at any different job that would hire me on Indeed. So if this company turns out was paying enough. So that's why I ran with it. It turned out I was good at it. So I
Hmm.
stayed at it.
Okay. So if you're just tuning in, I'm talking to Donovan Woodberry, also known as Dark Skin Gatsby. You got to follow him and follow his pages on Instagram. He went from being homeless, and he'll talk about, suicidal, to building several viral brands. And I want to talk about his journey. I want to talk about his resilience, and I also want to talk about like what it took to get him to the other side, and why Black men don't deal with mental health issues, because it's important in our community. And I remember just talking to someone one time and said, "Have you ever thought about going to therapy?" And he said, "I'm not crazy." And so that stigma that's around Black men and mental health, there's some statistics. Let me see. Suicide is the third leading cause of death for Black males ages 15 to 24. So it's a very real thing. Black men's suicide rate is over 4 times higher than Black women. Between 2007 and 2020, suicide amongst Black youth rose by 144%. And in rural Georgia, 1 in 3 Black men ages 15 to 24 reported suicidal ideation in the past 2 weeks. So this is a very real thing, especially amongst Black men. Their suicide rates are higher, a lot of things going on, but they're not getting the help that they need at the rate that they need it. So I just wanted to kind of I wanted Donovan to tell his story, because it's real, and but it's also resilient, which that's what really inspired all of us when we listened to you at our mixer. So Donovan, so when you got to DC, tell us about that part.
Um, DC was kind of like a culture shock, but I wanted to create like my own lane and stuff because at that time, like I said, the Posh Standard was just a blog.
How old were you?
So
Right after college?
this was I was 27,
Okay.
27, 26, 27. I'm 34 now.
Okay.
So I noticed that it was a lot of people in the city. Like people was telling me the different places to go to like meet people. But I noticed it was all these dope people in the same city doing dope things, but nobody worked together. So I created this networking happy hour called DMV Overdressed. So you come, network, and turn up, but you be fly, like dressed to the nines.
Mhm.
Um, that started like all my events, like people be dressed up. So that was like the first start of it. And it was, those went well. We went from, but now I'm like getting like crazy attention for the different things that we have going on. So when I moved to DC, I probably had like 15, 20,000 followers
Wait, so
at this
before
point.
we go there, so you came to DC and you just hit the ground running and you just
Yeah,
started.
yeah, yeah.
So what
Mhm.
was the time span? So you go from homeless, passing out this is motivation, passing out your resume in the back of McDonald's windows, to sleeping on the park bench to working at McDonald's, and then going to Job Corps, going to college.
Well,
When
Job Corps was before the McDonald's thing.
okay, Job
So,
Corps, then McDonald's. So
so
how old were you
yeah.
when you worked at McDonald's?
That probably was 22.
Okay, so you was 22 when you worked at McDonald's, so you
Yeah.
went to school, and then you ended up in DC, and immediately you started doing these events.
Yes.
How,
So,
how long after you moved to DC?
I was planning my first one on the road here. I didn't even have an apartment yet, which was crazy.
Were you doing
So
events in Louisville?
what you say?
Were you
No,
doing?
I not for real, for real. Like I said, it was just a blog. So I was doing more modeling when I was in Louisville. So I guess an influencer before the word.
Yeah.
So like brands would send me products, I'd take pictures um in them. But DC, I think I moved to DC in July. The June. I moved to DC in June, and the first event, the first overdress was probably like in August, September. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Uh, so and that was sold out. It was a free event, but that was sold out. The
Yeah.
first one was sold out, and so I was like, this kind of dope. I'm gonna keep doing it. So I did that for like 2 years or so. So like we had one somewhere everywhere in the city. Park, Ozios back then. There was this cigar lounge, It's Hell. Um, and we kept it going. So then it was this local event curator, DC Now Events. They had this thing called the All Purple Gala. And they honored me for the different things that I had going on. And I was like, this is cool. I feel like I could do something like this. I could have my own spin to it. So at the time, this they honored me in what 2018, 2019, and at the time I had a friend, she's a graduate from UDC, Brittany Flowers. She was battling cancer at the time, and she had like this GoFundMe up. So I hit her up and was like, what if I had like a gala or something? We could have like 50 or so people, and some of the proceeds can go to you. She was like, that's fine. And we in constant communication with everything that she had going on. But then COVID happened. So COVID happened, and I kept having to postpone it and postpone it and postpone it. And unfortunately, she lost her battle to cancer. She passed away during that time frame.
Wow.
So, like in 2021, probably like January 2021, I was like, "Dang, I want to still have this event, and I still want to honor her." So I feel like I can turn her name into a scholarship, which I did. And but I wonder will people even come to this event because I was talking to different event curators in the city that I've worked with when I was because I worked as a promoter too, so I was learning how to host my own events and how to get better at it. And she, well, I was like, let me try it. So I hit them up to try to get information. Everybody was like, "Ain't nobody gonna pay that," because what people don't know is everybody want to come to these nice events, but it costs a lot of money to have these nice events. If you want to come to the event for food, at base level, food is $35 a person.
Right.
Then you want free drinks. You want open bar. That's another $40 a person. So we not 75, $80, and we don't have no money in the event. So I was like, I'm gonna price the tickets at $100, and everybody, all the curators that I hit up was like, nobody's gonna pay for that. I was like, all right, let's
But
see.
you wasn't making no money at $100.
No, so I was like, let me see, and then I'm good at wording, so I put a post up. Would y'all come to the? Because it's called the Black Excellence Gala. Would y'all come to the Black Excellence Gala? We have this going on, and but in order to buy tickets, you have to sign up for our email and text blast. And within like maybe like a few weeks, we had probably like 4,000 people signed up. So I was like, oh shoot, now I got to have this event. And DC didn't open up until the last minute, so we operating at like 10% in the city. I was like, what place is gonna let me have 50 people right now with COVID and stuff going on? And I eventually found the first one was at a nightclub, Abigail's nightclub, and By the time tickets dropped, we probably had an email list of probably like 30,000 people who wants to come to the event. So then when I finally dropped the event, and this was like April, I've dropped the event, and we can only have 50 tickets because even though the place hold 450 people, we can only have
For
50
something
tickets.
this.
So they was like, all right, do 50. Them joints sold out in like 3 days.
Wow.
And so they kept piecemealing me because DC kept opening up. So, but eventually, DC opened up like just before, maybe like 2 weeks before the event at like 100%. So I sold out. It was 450 people there. So with that, with the proceeds, I fed the homeless at Union Station. So I try to do that with most of my events. Feed the homeless at Union Station. I donated to My Sister Place. If you don't know what My Sister Place is, My Sister Place provides homes for women transitioning out of domestic violent relationships. And I also created the Brittany Flowers grant, the Brittany Flowers scholarship uh, under my company's name at the time. It wasn't a nonprofit yet, and it was so dope. I was like, let's keep it going. And so we went from DC to Atlanta to Houston to Charlotte, and then back here. That's when I started Valentine.
So you had all this stuff going on, all these great things happening. You in DC, you that dude, all the,
No,
like
no, no.
you, yeah, you that dude. You do a post, you get 4,000 people on your mail list like that. Like people just signing up. Everybody wants to come to your events, and then you find yourself in a place going back to the loneliness or the depression. What happened?
So backtracking. So after like maybe a year here, after like a year here, that first year, that same real estate company fired me on the spot. DC is an at will state, and it was all off the Posh Standard because the Posh Standard only promotes black stuff and black positivity, and they said the exclusion of people is racism and don't reflect their company, and let me go. So I ended up losing my apartment, losing my car. Um, I was only homeless for like maybe like an hour because my frat brothers moved me into their frat house and let me stay there until I got back on my feet. But in that time, it was like, oof, I was spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. I went from having a savings account to making like $13 an hour at this staffing agency. My line brother was getting married. I couldn't even afford to even be in the wedding.
Wow.
It was just so much going on. And I remember the day I was like, bump it, I'm done. I started Googling ways that I wanted to kill myself. And for me, I almost died drowning before. So for me, I was like, I'd rather do that than any other thing. So I was going to drive off a bridge. And I got into my car, the parking lot of my apartment. I got into my car and he didn't know at the time. I told this story 100 million times, but he didn't know at the time. But my line brother, Montel, was gonna be the last person I talked to. So I called him with the intentions of telling him what I had going on. But we end up like talking about all this other stuff. Mind you, as men, we don't really be on the phone with each other a lot. But this conversation was supposed to be like 20 minutes, ended up being like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So now, like the sun down, I'm still in the parking lot. We got off the phone. I looked at my apartment building because I lived in Gettysburg at the time. And I was like, if I go back in that house and not do this, I'm gonna have to do things to not ever get into this space again. Which worked for a while until probably last year. But yeah.
Wow. So you went from so for those of you guys who are watching, we just got kicked off of YouTube because the word suicide is in the in the
Oh, I'm sorry.
no. So we got like 3 platforms on suicide. So folks who are on suicide, I mean on
Unaliving yourself.
huh? I
You got to
know.
say
So we gotta say
unalive.
unaliving, right? Let me see. Let me see if I can say unaliving. Um It's too late now. Oh, we're here. So it's probably just on my page. So on I am Constance Carter. If you get kicked off of any of the other pages, because they're still on other pages, but on my YouTube page, we got kicked off. So if you're on like any of the other YouTubes and you happen to get kicked off, go to my Facebook page. Okay, y'all still watching from YouTube? All right, bet. It's just on my page then until they catch up on the other ones. Go to I am Constance Carter. If you get kicked off of the other ones, I am Constance Carter. We can't say suicide on YouTube. We can only say unaliving. So if you end up getting kicked off of YouTube, go to I am Constance Carter on my Facebook page and watch it. All right. Glad y'all still on though. I'm glad y'all still with us. Okay. So I got a little distracted because I kept getting text messages like, we're kicked off, we're kicked off. Okay. So for you, you lost your job. How long were you unemployed?
I was never unemployed because I'm the type of person that I try to stack the
Oh, you just got
chips.
that $13 network
So
job.
no, I was working when I was working with the releases company. I was working part time still at the Marriott, but the Marriott in Silver Springs.
Mm.
So whenever I lost my job, that just became my full time job while I tried to like find something else. So I was never without a job.
Okay. But you
Yeah.
must have loved that job in order for you to become depressed and all of that.
No, because that was the breadwinner. That was where I made the most money at. So like
Okay.
I had a lifestyle that I was sustaining, and
Yeah.
now it's just railroading.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you got through that. How were you able to get through that time in your life? What
So it's a series of things. So even now, I still have it. These 9 steps on my dry erase board, which is focus, improve yourself, don't chase money, laugh at everything, provide value, know that you can, live without fear, express positive energy, and it's okay to be happy. And I look at that every single day,
I
even
need you to,
now.
I need you to say those things one at a time, and then y'all put that in the comments, please. Put that in the comments because that's good. So, did you go to therapy? Did your therapist teach
Yeah,
you this?
not at that time. Therapy came a little later.
Okay, okay. Number one was what?
Focus.
Focus.
Number
All right, put in the
two.
comments. Focus. Okay. What's the second one?
Number two is improve yourself.
Improve yourself. Okay.
And don't chase money is the third.
Don't chase
And
money.
and
Okay.
then four. I know that's crazy on the financial podcast.
That's good. No, let me.
Four is laugh at everything.
That's the thing
Uh,
I love. Laugh at everything. Don't take life too serious.
mhm,
If you're in a place where you can't laugh at nothing, like
yeah.
that's not living. You need to be able
Nah.
to laugh at it. I don't take myself too serious. Like everything I do, there has to be laughter. So
Mhm.
I love that one. That's my favorite. Okay, what's the next one?
And five is always provide value, no matter what it is.
Provide value.
Provide
What does that
value.
mean? What does that mean? Always
Uh,
value.
Something as simple as like even when you at work, you got base level stuff that you're responsible for. It's
Mhm.
okay to go above and beyond at work. It's okay to if somebody asks you for $1, you give them $5. If somebody asks you to do this, you do this, that, and that. Just always making sure like you're providing the most value that you possibly can
I
at
love
that
that.
time frame.
Okay.
Six is know that you can.
Know that.
Um, is unlimited examples of people who been where you are at, no matter what wild situation is. It's a million people. They got through it, so you can.
Okay. It's good.
Uh, Live without fear. I mean, that really goes without saying. You got to just live without fear. Like, no moment is promised, so you got to always stay at it and live it every day like it's your last. Every moment like it's your last.
Mm,
Uh, Eight will be express positive energy. Like nobody likes a Debbie Downer. Like you call somebody and they don't have nothing positive to say. Like you don't want to be that person.
I love that.
Like just nothing good happened in your life.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
Jesus.
Right.
And then it's okay to be happy. For a while, I used to have. If a lot of us actually get into a space where it's a whole bunch of positive stuff happen, your mind is trained to be like, well, something bad's about to happen now. Like I can't. It's not okay for me to be happy.
A
It
lot
is.
of people think like that. Like,
You
what?
deserve positive things and you deserve nice things.
Did you ever have survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt because your mother was no longer here, your father was no longer here?
I don't think I did, but around like my last birthday, It got to me because like my mom died in her 30s, so approaching the age where she passed away, so she didn't live past 38. So
Wow.
that's still a thing for me. So
Yeah.
I wrote that, back to your question though. I wrote that list, and I started listening to motivational speakers like Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, a lot of these different pastors and stuff. I started listening to training my mind in the morning. So every morning I would get into like a routine, make up my bed, brush my teeth, do all these things, meditate, and then on my way to work, listen to TD Jake's sermon or something.
So you're intentional about
Yeah,
your day.
yes. Well, what was pouring into me, because the problem with those being in those situations is your inner thought that messes you up. It's what you tell yourself
Yeah.
before the world telling you anything. It's what you tell yourself.
Yeah. You know,
So
I was with Les Brown. I'm sorry for interrupting. I was with Les Brown one day, and somebody came up to him and he said, "You changed my life. You saved my life. I was suicidal, and I was listening to you, and because of you, I didn't commit suicide." And I said to him, "Wow, it must be a blessing that people come up to you and they tell you that you saved their life. Like that's huge." So for me, that was so inspiring for me because the words that you speak, the things that you say to people, if they could change the trajectory of somebody's life, that's like everything. So
it
that
was baby's baby boy.
yeah, yeah, Mary Brown's baby boy. Yeah. So what a wonderful thing. Okay, I'm sorry, you were saying?
No, and then it's just training my brain to expect positive stuff when all I was ever taught was how to survive. So stay at it.
Yeah, yeah. So you did that. So you set intentions on how your
Mhm.
day was going to go. You made sure you poured into yourself. You did things. You took initiative to make sure that your day was going to go a certain way. And then what happened when you because even sometimes when you do that, your mind might seep back into that negativity. How do you pull yourself out of that?
Well, it was always, everything was cool though for a while. Like I got into therapy, everything was fine, and what kept me grounded was like the pie standard, what I built for myself, because no matter what was going on, that was still increasing. Like the followers was still increasing, the events was still happening, like things was still going as I wanted them to go. And then I did something different and start, like, instead of dealing with fashion and stuff, I start doing things in the community. So like I used to have this Queens Take DC photo shoot where 50 to like 100 women would show up and just take pictures, and like a flash mob. Different things of that nature. I did the same thing with men. I worked with Black Menswear, who also does that, but on a larger scale. And everything just kept going smooth, and because it's a muscle. Like mental health is a muscle. You got
Yeah,
to stretch it every day, and you got
yeah.
to stay at it, because those thoughts will creep up. And last year it crept up on me. I had a fashion show, and for those who want to have a fashion show, understand that is a lot of work. I thought it was gonna be a layup. I thought you get the models, they walk, boom, bam, bam, boom, and it's done. And but that has to be one of the toughest events I've ever. It's so many moving parts that you can't control. I'm a person that like to control stuff that has my name on it,
Yeah.
and it's all these different back end things that you can't control in a fashion show, like a model not showing up, a designer dropping out. It's all these different things. But it was my first one. It was an all white fashion show at the Mayflower Hotel downtown DC. Fashion show went amazing, just beautiful, 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 beautiful people. Fubu was one of the sponsors and designers. Like it was dope. That night I tried to kill myself. Uh, but fortunately for me, my frat brothers have my location, and
Well,
I
what
left the
happened
bar.
to cause you to do that? Why did you
I'm
want
about
to
to
do
tell you.
that? Okay, okay.
So the stress of the fashion show, the stress of the fashion show, the stress of work, my actual job, stress of work, and then uh at my event, my ex that I just had the most horrible breakup with. came to the event, and her was like the water drop that just spilt the whole pot over. And I remember we went out afterwards to celebrate, and I'm in the bar like boo hoo crying. I'm in Focus actually, like baby crying. And I was like, bro, I can't do this. I'm going home. So then I went home, and these dudes got my location. And I guess some God told them to come check on me, and they came rushing in, picked me up off the floor, uh, and that just was a result of overworking as well. So I canceled all my events for the rest of the year, just to get back to who I was as a person,
Yeah.
and it was very beneficial. We don't go down them roads again.
So all these great things, but stress, because stress can
Mhm.
certainly do that. But it was all the everything that was happening, the pressure of this high energy fashion show, high pressure fashion show, and all the things, and then a breakup, and then the job and everything, and it just boom.
Yeah,
How
snap,
did
I
you work
snap.
yourself out of that? How did you work yourself out of that?
Uh, Crying in front of my homeboys was definitely a driving factor. I don't usually cry, let alone cry in front of my good men. So that was letting them see that side was a lot for me.
Mm.
Uh, then just making sure I take the time to appropriately give myself to like recover from the things that I had because everything was like a domino. Stuff was moving too fast. I was supposed to have Melancon last September, and I postponed all that. That's why we didn't have it until April. So
Hmm.
getting into a space of the just resting. I
That's what
usually I don't like I'm
you
almost to there now. I'm there now. Like I haven't rest because we got an event next weekend. After this event, I'm resting. So
yeah.
like giving yourself time to rest in between all these initiatives is key.
Yeah, one of the things about social and structural factors with mental health, men's mental health, 58% increase in overall Black suicide rate from 2011 to 2021, with the greatest rise among Black Americans. Structural racism, poverty, lack of cultural competent providers, and stigma reduce Black men's access and trust in the mental health systems. Black men face higher social isolation correlation with increased psychiatric disorders. So it's interesting that you had your frat brothers that you were able to cry in front of, that you were able to, pour your heart out to, that you had, thank God that you had true friends, because many men find it hard to be vulnerable and to cry in front of another man. And so thank God, what do you say to men who keep everything bottled up?
Ah man, you got to find an outlet because that's how crimes of passion happens. That's how all these stupid things happen because you got it bottled up. And
Yeah.
like I grew up like that. I love my mom, but we wasn't able to cry. I got a little brother and an older sister. My sister wasn't even allowed to cry. We would cry, you get two to the chest, and she'd say, "Toughen up."
Yeah.
So allowing yourself to like express it. It don't matter what it is. Maybe you're a gym dude, maybe you're an artistic dude, but allowing yourself to talk through these things and work these things out. I
Yeah.
journal a lot, so even writing it down is key. But you can't hold it in.
Yeah.
But you also can't trauma dump on people either.
That's true too, because don't nobody want to hear that all the time. Every time they call,
Yeah.
every time you call, it's so
I'm
you just
telling you, don't nothing good happen.
right. Ain't
You
nothing
woke up
bothering
today.
me.
Tell
Yeah,
me you woke up today. You're happy you woke up today.
right, exactly. So I want to shift gears now. So thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable. But you have all of these amazing brands, Donovan, like Dark Skin Gatsby and Melanin Con and the Posh Standard. And what you have, like 8 different brands?
Uh-huh.
And you were able to grow them into these viral brands. And then you were telling me a couple of weeks ago that you just put out this event and it sold out in like hours. And like there's something about you, because that doesn't happen for everybody. And also, your graphics are great. So who did
I do it
you?
myself.
Your graphics are. But what inspired all of these different brands? Because how many brands do you have?
uh Queens, Starsky Gatsby, Newman Only, Melancon, Salvation of Us, the Pasta 7.
You got 7 brands.
Yeah.
Take us through each brand and tell us what inspired each one, and then how were you
So
able to grow them?
so my regular one is me, dark skin Gatsby. I go to different red carpets, influence that way, speak, um, actually 8, speak and different things. Like I said, brands send me their things. I take pictures of them, talk about them, and people just rock with it. My baby though is the Posh Standard. That was a blog, but now it's a whole company in itself, a media group. Through there, it's like an online magazine. We post Black excellence. We straight positivity. I never even post a shirtless male, no risque pictures of Black women. It's just redefining what Blackness is within our community without the gossip. So it was meant to be like a positive, the shade room for real, and it worked out that way. Through that, we have like I have a T-shirt brand. You may have seen it. It's I only date Black women or I only date
Ooh,
Black men.
I
It's
haven't
called
seen that, but I need
it's
to give me
called
one. Wait, where can we get that? Where can we get that?
right now it's on pause, but it's called Nubian only. The link I think the link will be back in the bio. Right now, everything's been geared towards the event, so all the links are that. But it's called Nubian only.
Nubian
Uh,
Philly?
yep.
Okay, I like it.
And from there we have like my custom suits, Park Avenue suits.
Let's go. That's you?
I design my own suits and my own suit line. And then we have my nonprofit, A Celebration of Us, which I created through the Black Excellence Gala because it works better when you have initiatives and a 501c3. So through there, our events are literally catered to celebrating us and everything that we have going on within our community, giving people pats on the back who don't normally get pats on the back, who will tell you they don't want a pat on the back, but everybody wants a pat on the back. Like
Yeah,
just to be seen
yeah.
is and that provides an outlet for that. We about to announce that we about to have members and we about to it's a whole bunch going out with that. And then I have MelaninCon, which is a conference for Black voices. It was meant to be a national meeting of Black minds and where we all come together, whether you're in tech, creativity, whether you're in mental health, whether you're in health, whether you are business owners, whether you're in financial awareness, like all these different people come together at one conference. I think that's it. Oh, I have a suit brand called that a suit brand that posts Black women in suits. It's called Queens in a Suit. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so I spoke at Melanin Con, and you had quite the challenge, and it fell on a time where where this motherfucker came in the office, and a lot of things got taken away as a result of his no DEI. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my God. I never even viewed nothing I do in the scope of DEI. I don't even think I use DEI in my vocabulary until this year. Uh, Sponsors for the event, usually we have like a whole bunch of businesses and things that just want to be a part of it. And so it's never really a lot to get people to like donate and chime into what we have going on. But this year, it was like pulling teeth because everybody was running away from a black led, black initiative event. And we had this one company I won't name. They 25, 30 days before the event didn't sign a contract and pulled out and was like, uh, I'm trying to word it how they worded it. We are trying to stay in compliance with the new executive orders. We can no longer support your event. And that sent the event spiraling because that was for $25,000. So the original venue we couldn't have, uh, which was the venue for three of our events of that 4 event weekend. And everything just went to hell. But I had to stay in composure. Eventually, for which I still owe a lot with that event. And we was able to pivot to the gathering spot for the conference and the network and happy hour the welcome mixer. Then the gala which was usually the grand finale of the weekend. We didn't even get a venue to that until 2 days before the event.
Yeah. So let me walk this down for y'all. So this is a whole 4-day event, right? So on Thursday you have a mixer. On Friday, what do you
It's the
have?
conference,
Is
and
the
then you have the
conference,
happy hour.
and then you have the happy hour, and then you have the gala, right? So you have all those things. This is a whole production. Now
Yes.
he relies on sponsorships to do this, and 30 days, everything's planned out. You waiting on this money to come
People
in.
already got their tickets.
People
Oh
got
my God.
tickets. So you have an event, folks flying in from all over the country. You have speakers, and oh, by the way, when he had us on the conference call with all these speakers, and as they're talking, and I'm looking them up, I'm like, oh, these are some heavy hitters. He had influencers, they're speaking and all that. Doo, doo, doo.
Mind you, it has to happen because I had to postpone it in September. So this has
It
to
had
happen.
to happen. And oh, by the way, we didn't tell him this. You're a not a metro police. You're a police officer. You work.
No, I contract for Capitol Police. Yes.
He contracts for Capitol Police, so
Mhm.
he has a 9 to 5 job that he works at. That he had to come out of pocket. He had to take out
Oh
leave.
my God.
He had to.
I still don't get to keep my paychecks. It's been 3 months now. I still don't get to keep my paychecks.
Ugh, all because so he had to come out of his pocket to end up having this event, not for himself, because you could have all these other events, but for everyone else, because you wanted to have a celebration of us. You wanted to
Mhm.
give some, you wanted to give back to the community. And so he came out of pocket. And so he's still in debt. Still, can anybody contribute? Can anybody
Oh my God.
donate
Yes,
to
please. Oh
how do
my
how do
God.
they donate to your organization?
We got a link in official Melanicon bio that you can donate to, or you can go to celebrationofus.org. It's a donate tab.
Okay, okay. If you guys can manage to donate to
Man,
Donovan, that would definitely help.
when I say whip my ass, I still don't know how I was able to pull that off.
I
I have
mean, you
no
did,
idea.
and you did. I didn't take it to the gala, but the gala looked so freaking dope. I was
Yes,
like, wow. And you didn't have a venue until 2 days before.
2 days before,
God just was working that thing out for you.
man, and it was a lot, but we got through it. On to the
Yeah.
next.
On to the next. So now you're having another event coming up next week. What's that?
Yes, ma'am. It's a juke joint. So it's I'm heavily, which hits the name dark skin Gatsby. I love the 1920s, 1930s, 40s, and all that entails. So like the Great Gatsby is like one of my favorite stories. I always wanted to have a Gatsby party. Like they just look so lavish and dope. And so I saw Idlewild. Idlewild was everything I liked about well, everything I liked about the Great Gatsby, but with blackness. And then so after seeing Sinners, I was just like, oh nah, I got to have one of these drinks. Which is crazy because it started as a joke, but again, like the gala, I put the ideal out, and that post still viral. So like, uh, I was able to find a venue, and we gonna have our own juke joint, 1930s themed. Everybody dressed like it's 1930s. Uh,
Yes.
a rooftop and a first floor. So it's two different areas in the Cambria Hotel.
Oh, so
About
Cambria,
yeah, about
nice venue, nice.
600, 600, 700 people confirmed to come. So
Wow.
multiple performers, media room, like it's gonna be like that.
Okay, that's next weekend.
Yes, man.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. I want you if you could just give some words of wisdom, like some final words. We're so amazed by your story. You've been through so much, and you've been able to overcome so much. Even now, going through it, like it's and you don't stop, and you're still so positive. If you do, you have any words that you want to give to the people?
I would say find your purpose and lock in because even when you don't have, like I said, it's times like even now I don't believe in myself, but I believe in everything that I built, and that keeps me afloat. So you find your why, and you just keep hammering at it. Even like at the final hour, God came through at the last hour.
Always.
Like even at that last minute, like you can always look at what you built and be like, all right, it ain't so bad. We got through this, that, and that. Uh, we can get through this next problem, because if you always looking at life as one problem to the next, you ain't not gonna be able to see all the positivity that comes out of your life specifically.
Right.
Uh, Looking at from one problem to the next is a recipe for disaster. So I would say always find your why, lock in.
I love that. Listen, you are such a positive light. Um, you guys, to Donovan's story reminds us that healing is not weakness, it's wisdom. And this brother has really healed. He also reminds us that vulnerability doesn't make you less of a man, it makes you more of a human. And we got to start making it safe for our brothers and our fathers and our sons to say, I am not okay, and know that they won't be ashamed, dismissed, or ignored. For him to be able to fall into his frat brother's arms and to cry, and for them to say that it's okay. So if you're a Black man listening right now, I want you to know you are not alone. You are not broken beyond repair, and your life, your purpose is bigger than your pain. And
And
to
you
everybody,
worth it. You
you
worth
are
it, because
worth
a
it.
lot of us don't feel worth it. Like
Absolutely.
if we not making six figures, 6 foot tall, driving a Mercedes Benz, we don't feel worth it.
Always.
So
And the other thing is, write down some affirmations. Look at them every day and say them. Make sure that you are intentional about your healing, about your mental health, and your mental wellness. Um, Thank you guys for joining us. Listen, look, at everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Before we head out here, I'm gonna do my woke tip for the day. Stay right here, Donovan. Don't go nowhere yet. Welcome to the Woke Minute. It's your girl Constance Carter. This is where we will drop. What you do? Welcome to the Woke Minute. It's your girl Constance Carter. This is where we will drop quick tips to build wealth, seize opportunity, gain knowledge, and empower your legacy. In our community, we've been taught to suffer in silence, but silence won't save us. Wealth isn't just about money, it's about mindset, mental wellness, and emotional freedom. You can't build legacy if you're breaking inside. So let's normalize healing, therapy, and vulnerability, especially for our brothers. Because when a Black man heals, generations thrive. Stay ready so you never have to get ready. That's your woke tip. Because when you stay woke, you stay wealthy.